Hey everyone, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to our podcast this evening. This will be our first in my new studio here. I'm really excited to be hanging out with you all today. So, I'm Pastor Patrice Evans, or Patrice Evans. You may know me from my wellness program, Soccer Core Fit. You may know me from our church, Joy Celebration Church, JOY, because Jesus overcame for you. But this is our podcast. So welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm just chilling and relaxing this evening. And I just wanted to start our first podcast in my new studio, give this like the test run, say hi to everybody in the meantime. And I wanted to hear your opinion of what you think of my studio here that I've put together for tonight. I didn't make myself all up for this because I wanted to be more, just authentically us showing up talking. So, tonight, what I wanted to talk to you about is the transition that I've been making. If you've been watching me on any of my platforms, especially on YouTube and TikTok and wherever I am, I've been talking about the changes that God has been leading me to do. So if you don't know me, then welcome, welcome, welcome. I really appreciate having you here. If you're an OG, you've been around. You're so excited to see me in my podcast now because I used to come to you talking to you all the time on YouTube, but now I have a new format. God has led me to start our podcast. So you might have seen my other episodes where it has to do with me dancing for Jesus, dancing for joy. But this podcast name that God has led me to do is Unlock Your Joy, Body, Mind, and Spirit. As you know, I've been talking about for over, 16 years. I've been saying the same thing. So, my husband and I were praying about it and we remembered, wait a second, that's what you've always said. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Unlocking your joy. And what does that mean? Being whole is what it means, living in your calling and achieving true joy. That's what my gifting is. That's what my anointing is. If you know me, I do share the gospel of Christ, and God has called me to be a pastor. If you want to know more about me and you really have never, really heard about me, the best ways to catch up to who I am, Patrice Evans, now Pastor Patrice Evans. I had a one woman show that I did that's on my YouTube channel. I have my book, Resilient Joy, a High Yoga Empath's Victory Over Narcissistic Abuse in Family, Career, and Church. That came out on 2021. And then God led me to do my TV series, which is Hayoka Empath, God's Chosen Truth Seer. And Amazon Prime picked it up. So go ahead and watch, binge on all the things that have to do with who I am and this whole process that God has been leading me into. I've been obeying God for so many years in my life. If you read my book, I've had an angel experience at 3. I've had a really difficult life. And what makes my life so unique is that I've stayed joyful. I've been able to stay joyful. So I'm a master at that now. And I'm able to help anyone who has gone through anything who wants to know how to be joyful in this life that we live here. So welcome to the podcast by me, Patrice Evans, Unlock Your Joy, Body, Mind, and Spirit. And one of the things you'll hear me say over and over again is you might want to listen. And the reason I say that is because God has given me the gift of wisdom and discernment. And for many years, I've been blessing people with the wisdom that God gives me. And I also have the gift of healing and helping you to be whole is what God has called me to do. So I'm really, really excited to be coming here comfortably, just chilling. Sometimes I'll have my tea. um, my cards that I just kind of created. If you're watching the video, I'm going to show it real quick. I'd love for you to comment and let me know if you, even though we are a podcast, if you, let's see what's seen best there. So there you go. Um, If you want to move sometimes and dance with me, I would love to do that. In the beginning of the show, I can always edit that in, or we can get up and dance a little bit if you're watching for the video. If you're doing it through the podcast, then you'll just kind of just hear me talking and maybe singing while I'm dancing or some music. Well, I'm so pleased to be here to be talking to you. I'm going through a lot of transition in my life, and I've been obeying God for so many years, as I said before. The first thing I did that was really big, that was very clear to me that God was calling me to do what I'm doing now and what I've done over the years is soccer core fit, which was soccer dance fit. He wanted me to take my ability of dance and to help women with it. He was telling me that what I did was actually healing to for other women. And I was remember being in the gym and knowing that God was telling me that. And I'm like, Lord, my dancing, the dancing that I just love to do. He's like, yeah, I want you to take that dance and I want you to help women heal. And I thought to myself, okay, it's like if you can think of the thing that you love to do, right? That's just like your thing that you do for yourself. And then like let's say you just like to draw or you like to use a coloring book or, you like to just do something for yourself. It's your thing, right? Well, that was my thing. The thing I wanted to do professionally was acting. I wanted to act and I love dancing and performing, any type of performing, but I was really working hard to be an actress. And the Lord didn't seem to want to grant me that fully. Like I was in movies, TV shows, and I had agents and I was doing well considering, but overall, he would not let me fully succeed. And he wouldn't let me succeed in a lot of things. I mean, I was a Mary Kay consultant. I've done so many things. I was a certified teacher. I spoke Spanish. I was a Spanish teacher, so I speak Spanish fluently. I'm not Hispanic. I'm African American from North Carolina. My family's from North Carolina, and my father's family's from Baltimore, and he has family in Virginia now. But I grew up with a family from my mother's side in North Carolina, Ada, North Carolina. My grandmother was a preacher, and I took after my grandmother. And my Aunt Van was my a prayer warrior. She was actually the one that kind of adopted me as being my mom when my mother kind of disowned me. If you read the book, you'll understand. So God has always kept me joyful, even though I've been through so much jealousy and sabotage and so much stuff. But God has always blessed me. And the secret, I can go into it right now, just in case you're wondering, is Jesus. I always held on to Jesus no matter what happened. And in my weakness, his strength was made perfect. So get used to me talking about Jesus because I can't do anything without Jesus. I'm nothing without him. So basically, I've been on this journey for a while, and I'd love to one day. I will warn you about going through the story of how I got to where I am today. So I won't do that now because I didn't warn you. So I will warn you on that one, and I'll let you know this episode is about kind of bringing you from where I started my journey till now. But this one is more about how this change and this growing and this pruning and the obedience and where he has me today is just the highest level that I've ever been spiritually and fulfilling things. Like right now, at the time of this video, I have a studio at a really big mall in my area. And while the country, all the malls in America are not what they used to be, this mall isn't either, but it's so sweet and creative in the way that they are structuring it. And I happen to be part of this restructuring of making it multi-purpose. So I've brought my program Soccer Core Fit, which was Soccer Dance Fit. By the way, one more thing, I had my DVD. So well, let me go back to that. My calling started um, I think it was 2009, yeah, 2008 and 9, when God called me to do that. It was called SNS, Sensuality and Spirituality, a healthy balance of both. I knew I wanted to do that. I also knew I wanted to have a program that taught people how to move their waistline like I did when I grew up. And so I knew God wanted me to do it. And then eventually he said, I want you to do a DVD. Now I knew that for many years, but it was time to do it. At the time, there was another dance fitness program going on. There was nothing, no such thing as dance fitness. It was a new thing. But for years, I had the idea to do a Latin, Caribbean, African um, dance program that was like educational, fitness, dance, all of that. And then Zumba came out, and I was like, oh my goodness, this was my idea. But they beat me to it. So I said, if you can't beat them, join them. So I just started joining those classes, and God kept saying, do this DVD. Well, at the time, it was a tape. And so I am going to tell you some of the story. Um, and then I knew God was talking to me, but I for many years have been not sure because I have been gaslighted and abused for so many years that it took me a while to know that I God saw me as somebody special enough to talk to. So I knew he was talking to me, but it took me a while to really, really give in and know for sure he was talking to real I knew it with smaller things, but I just thought, little on me, you want me to do a DVD, you want me to, you know. So this has been a journey in obeying God and knowing that he's speaking to me through so many avenues and the way that he speaks to me. Well, I did believe that in my spirit that he was, but not until I taught a class at a gym where I became very well known and I was the top a dancer and um, dance fitness instructor, even Zumba instructor, all that. I got licensed for Zumba because I figured, maybe that's what God meant. And I put in a tape to audition tape to be a jammer, they called it, where because I was so good at it naturally. It was my idea. So sure, I knew I would be good at it because it was my idea to do it. Whereas the person who did Zumba, he actually stumbled upon it. This was actually my idea. And I was a Spanish teacher, so I brought that education piece to it. I wanted to teach people the language, the custom, the dancing. So that was my idea. But when I was pregnant with my son, who's now going to be 24, so you can tell how many years ago it was, and this is 2025 that I'm speaking, um, that I couldn't do it because my body wasn't, I was having a baby. But I spoke to some people about it, tried to figure out how I can get it filmed. And back then, it was really hard to get yourself filmed. I even thought of YouTube before YouTube. So this was way back then when I thought that people should audition and be able to be seen and chosen by the people, not by um, casting directors and stuff. And I had a friend try to help me do that years ago. That was way back in the 90s. But these were two things I had an idea in. And then I became very successful on YouTube because that was my idea. And to do something like that. So it was a place that I was very comfortable with. And I believe I was called to be. He showed me a vision of that. So I was called to do this. Um, and then I taught a class, subbed for somebody at another gym when I was working at a women's wellness place. That was a small place, which is interesting that now I have my own women's wellness studio. Praise the Lord. But I started in someone's wellness, and that was in gyms, and I got licensed and everything and certified. And I was well known, so whenever I would teach a class, people were like, "Oh my goodness, you're amazing. Where else do you teach?" So I taught this big class at a local gym, and then I went back to the small, studio that I did, and people would go to different places to find who, was teaching what classes. So one day after class, when I went when I went back to my original place that I taught, a woman stopped me afterwards. She said, "I saw you at the other place, but everyone was trying to talk to you and you were so well known and they were all around you so that I couldn't talk to you. But the spirit told me that you were going to do a tape. And I know God had told me that. So I thought, oh my goodness, the Lord's really speaking to me, little old me." And she says, I see you doing a tape, workout tape. This was 2000. At this point, it was 2013, no, 2012 or 11 or 12. And I knew God told me at that point that I was going to do it because I knew it was never left me. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is God confirming it. I said, that's funny. I didn't say anything to her. She finished what she said. I just see you you're going to do a tape. And I said, I can't believe you're saying this because God did tell me to do that. So that was God's way of confirming it. And I have never seen her again since then. I don't know if she was an angel or not, but she said, "I saw you at the other place and I just happened to come to this studio to just try it out today. And here you are. And now that I got to see you, I know God wants me to tell you this." And after she said that, that's all I needed. I set out to do my DVD. I first thought that I was going to send a tape into the leading fitness dance fitness company, which is Zumba, and I did. And I was so unique in how I did things and the way I dressed. And you can tell I was such a high level choreographer that I didn't do their choreographies and I didn't do things with their way. I did my own thing and I was a high level. So I went to the end of it and then they just didn't pick me. But I had they they forced me when I was doing everything. One of the criterion is that I had to show up to their annual conference. When I got there, I went to the different classes. I had chosen classes. One of the classes is the lady that was in charge of making the decision. So I said to her, I said, I auditioned and, everybody said I'm great at it. Why didn't you? And she kind of snapped at me and said, yeah, I know you. We know you. We didn't choose you. Whatever. And I was like, what was that about? And then there was another guy following me everywhere I went because I had my own gear. I was kind of creating my own style with tassels, and he was like staring at me. It turns out he was in charge of the clothing and the design, and he stopped me, and I was like, "Who's this guy following me and staring at me?" He turns out that he's the main dude, and he came over and said, Your outfit looks really nice." I said, "Oh, thank you. These are tassels that I put on there, and I always wear my tassels." I said, I think that you might have had something like this in one of the I kinda was inspired by one of their dancers that was one of the jammers. Jammers are the top Zumba instructors that, um, represent Zumba when they do big events, and they go to different areas, and they kind of help, um, instructors get better it's like an instructor's class. So all the instructors would get together, and they would have a jam. And so a leader from Zumba would be a top, instructor for instructors, and give them new choreography ideas and be able to do that. So I found out after that, being at that conference, that the reason they didn't pick me is because I was too unique. It was as though I was doing my own thing, and I could tell it all came together. And then I did the African class, and the guy was acting so weird towards me, and I stood out like a sore thumb because the way I dressed and the way I danced and everything. So I knew that they all knew me, but they all didn't know what to do with me because I was not, conforming. I am Hayoka. That means, by the way, if you don't know what a Hayoka is, they are the ones that are born doing things opposite of what everybody does. We're natural psychologists, natural psychiatrists. Um, we are highly spiritual. We're the top, highest empaths, most powerful, very spiritual. You can look it up. And so I don't fit into small little groups very easily. And this was the way I was treated a lot, where I was just like always standing out higher than doing things at a great level more than other people who should have been doing better. And there was a lot of jealousy, or what do we do with you? We can't teach you. You can imagine what my mother was going through, or some of my leaders and teachers in my life. And while I'm being innocent, they are having a hard time with me because they really can't really teach me. So I'm just gonna take off my glasses because of the reflection. So after that all happened, I realized, wow, it's happening to me again. Oh my goodness, jealousy. Or, when they don't have anything to say, usually it's because there's jealousy or they don't know what to do with you. So I came back home and met a friend, Justinia, if you're there. Hi, girl. And we were just hit it off so well. She has a fitness program too. And maybe I'll get her on the podcast and we'll talk. So anyway, she and I just hit it off so well, and we still stay in touch till this day. And excuse me for picking. And I said to her, "Girl, I'm gonna obey God, and I'm gonna start my dance fitness program." And she said, "Wow, you should do it." She was so encouraging, and I think she had something she was doing too. And I only saw her once during the conference. We hung out together. We were both kind of not 100% all zumbaed up. We had our own thing that we did because Zumba allows you to bring in your own character. And I did so. Excuse me. So I went back home and that was it. I started the process of starting my own dance fitness program. I had to get a name, I had to get a logo, and it was Saka Dance Fitness. Turned into Soccer Dance Fit. Then it turned into, and I said, I'm going to make this a franchise. We did the DVD. It was beautiful, high level. Um, and then I set out to make it a franchise. Many women were healed. Women were conceiving where they couldn't conceive because I had the gift of healing and helping women to become conceived. When they couldn't conceive in late 30s, early 40s. There were women with terminal illnesses that were being healed. God gave me the gift of healing, especially, excuse me, this is falling, especially those who were longing to have a baby. So that was a gift of mine, and I was so grateful to that. So Winston, North Carolina, is where it all kind of grew so fast, and I became well known. I did color runs. I was leading all these big thousands, tens of thousands of people, um, and just became well known in the area. It didn't take much, and then from there, God called me to come to Atlanta, and I was trying to do my acting, but before he did, he said I had my local classes, and they were becoming so successful that I left that wellness program, and I ended up having my own classes, and we got to a point where it became a membership, which is what God wanted. Had so many people losing weight and seeing their goal, meeting their goals, and we had created a 3-month challenge and with nutrition and everything. It was just amazing. And then God told me to get rid of my local class and to go online. And it was the first time I saw the word streaming. And it was the first time anyone had ever heard of streaming. There wasn't a thing. It was around 2015 to going into 2016. And he also told me to be a minister. So that means to minister. And I started bringing it online. I started my Joy Party TV online on YouTube. And I also started trying to figure out how to stream online because that wasn't a thing yet. I worked with VHX, and it was just I did my best. And then by 2018, I got hurt. My knee got hurt, and I had to let go. He gave me 2 years to listen, and the classes were so wonderful. I moved from Winston to Greensboro, and the women just loved me so much in both places. I was able to redo it again. He said, "I want you to stop dancing. I want you to dance professionally." And he said he wanted me to do belly dancing, and I couldn't stand belly dancing because I thought it was like, I don't know. I just something about it was just a turn off, but I knew I naturally danced that way. I knew that I could do it because it was just coming natural for me. And a lot of the women, there was a woman that kept saying that, and high level dance instructors. And ever since I was younger, dance was something people just saw me as being, even no matter what I did, no matter how talented I was as an actress and in any other way, they loved my dancing. So I couldn't escape it. So I said, "Okay, Lord." And as I was healing from my knee, I had a medium meniscus tear. So I guess I am telling the story. And it sat me down and forced me to stop my class. And I had to do my last class. And all the women were so mad at me that I was going online. No one was going online back then. So I started realizing how prophetic I was getting. And the Lord was telling me, well, all through 2018, I was healing. And while I was healing, I was learning belly dance. He did not want me to learn from anyone. He wanted me to do it online. That was not heard of. Most of the time, people went to a person, but he showed me a woman online that fit my style. And brought me built my confidence. And I learned. It took me like a year, that whole year. And I developed the style with salsa. I prayed about it. Salsa, Caribbean Latin fusion belly dance. And I knew that I was doing that. Then my husband and I were led to come to Atlanta just as I was done learning and ready to start performing. We got here without knowing it. This place is big with belly dance, but Winston wasn't, neither was Greensboro. There was like one girl, one lady that kind of monopolized all of that area. And so I got here and we were we had a house we had to pay for and we had an apartment and it wasn't cheap. So we were tight for the first month. And I said, "Honey, the Lord wants me to belly dance. I know it doesn't make any sense, but maybe we should give it a week." Let me tell you, that week I made a lot of money belly dancing. And it was very professional. He was with me all the time, my husband. It was at restaurants and it was something that was well received. And I was one of the only African American belly dancers here. And I had my natural afro and I had my ministry channel and I was doing what he told me to do. So it was now we're going into 2019. So I got here late 2018. Going from 2018, I finally found I spent the end of 18 to the end of 19 performing professionally as a Caribbean Latin fusion belly dancer here in Atlanta, Georgia. And then then the pandemic hit. And I had all these things lined up for college, for a corporate event. I had all this stuff. I was a part of Charles Stanley's church. And I was still growing and trying to understand this because it was hard for me to believe that God wanted me to belly dance. But it took me a while to heal and to really heal my hair journey and my dancing. There was so much I had to believe in obeying the Lord. And I still had soccer, but I had put it in the back burner because I had to rebuild it. He had not asked me to bring it back. I tried acting. He didn't want me to do that. He just let me succeed in belly dancing. All that time passed. We come out of the pandemic, and God allows me to do my one woman show. One woman show in 2020, my book 2021. Um, and then I just in uh, 24 last year, I produced 2023 is when I did the production. But in 2024, I actually got on Amazon Prime. So that was big. And then I did my church event of Jesus Revival in the Park. And at the end of that of 2023, God called me to be a pastor at the fall of 2023. And I knew that was him speaking to me because by now I understood God speaking to me. And he started to show me stronger signs. So I started to really know that I was prophetic. So I was growing in the prophetic. I was growing in so many ways. And after he told me to do something in obedience, at the end, it would change me forever. So soccer became who I was. And then Jesus Revival in the Park, um, it became who I was. And then I had to preach. And I had been coaching people from that time. I've been under this coach for about 3 or 4 years, teaching me how to become a coach. And I've been training, getting my 100 people under my belt that I've been coaching professionally because I've been coaching people off the books for so many years. I am a yoga and Beth most of my life. I've been coaching people, but I wanted to know that I could do it. So I did. And then I came out of the end of it and I went to I was going to be a part of the chamber in my area. Went to visit my daughter because I had a time of doing nothing, waiting. And I came back on the plane. I said, Lord, I need space for my church. And I tried to have space for my church, went to the library, got persecuted there, got persecuted in my area, but held my head up and said, Lord, on the way back from being um, at my daughter's, I came back and I was in the plane. I was like, Lord, I'm in an affluent area that obviously is not easy with letting people in to do what you're calling them to do unless they fit the mold. So, Lord, you're going to have to make a way in order for me to obey you. So when I got landed, my husband and I, my husband had suggested the mall. We went there, and I'll tell you another story about the blimp. Remind me to tell you the blimp story, the biggest way that God has shown me that He's speaking to me. So I go there and I negotiate space. It wasn't easy, but because He showed me that emphatically that this is the place to be, I knew He was going to do it. I stuck with it. I got the area. I got it for affordable price. It was last September of 2024. And I've been building this business, building it out since then. It's the most beautiful studio, dream studio. Oh my goodness. It's what I've always wanted. And it's beautiful. And by the way, God gave me a dream. I dreamt of it. And I dreamt that someone was trying to stop me from doing it. So he prepared me, but I didn't see it. I just knew I knew it in my spirit it was mine. He prepared me. So I was prepared to fight for this studio. And so I saw the things unfold that I dreamt. It was just amazing. And I remember my dream. There were high ceilings. There are high ceilings. So now we're fast forward to now. I'm in the studio as we speak, and God just told me that I finished what I was there to do. I only signed up for 6 months, and we're at our last month and a half. And I was ready to re up it. I thought God was just going to get me started, but the Lord is telling me not to re up it. Can you believe? and that broke my heart. It's been taking me like a week to get over it. But in that time, he says, you've completed everything you're supposed to do here, the franchise, the model, everything that my coaches taught me about how to build. I actually tested everything. I know what it is. I know what I do. And I can tell you that now what I do. So I have a wellness program. It's a woman's holistic wellness program, which is my studio or wherever I meet you, if I meet you in your home or anything, that is the company, is the Soccer Core Fit Women's Holistic Wellness Company, okay, or studio if it's a location, or I can go to you. And what's in there is two major programs. The main program is the belly dance therapy program, and it consists of being transformed body, mind, and spirit, unlocking your joy. And so we work with the body and the mind and sometimes the spirit as well with our belly dance fit class. So that's the pure soccer classic class like I used to have, where it's a really high intensity, low impact balance of spirituality and sensuality, where you lose weight in a short amount of time and you're toned and it's really works the core. But you're not jumping so much like Zumba is. It's different in that way. Zumba is very much um, aerobic like. Mine is very much dance focused, but I'm a master at how I do it. I actually choreograph naturally in the way that you should to be what they would call a jammer or lead dance fitness instructor. I naturally choreograph that way, so I was meant to do this. So someone said, "You look like you're in your wheelhouse," and I was really born to dance. And so my program, the featured program that we have in our studio as of now, it's been developed all these years. What came together is called Belly Dance Fit. So the half of the classes are classic fitness class that could be high level or anything, but it's really to warm you up. Second half is our lessons where you actually learn my style, my Caribbean fusion Latin style, and it's my technique that helps you um, uh, de-stress, get rid of stress, um, lower your cortisol levels. It helps with menopause, perimenopause, or any any spectrum of anywhere that you are in the spectrum of your menstrual cycle, postmenopause, or childbearing age, or any place that you are once you have ovulated and you're becoming a woman. So it helps you with all those stages because it's really hard to show up when you're in pain and when you're in all that discomfort. So this really helps you in a very gentle way. It's an online class that also helps you with coaching, one-on-one coaching, and it also helps you with spiritual guidance because we have a retreat area usually in my studio. As long as my studio is open, you have the dance floor and then you have the retreat area. I built it out to mimic what we did for 16 years when I was with my beautiful soccer superstars. They would stay after class, get prayed for. It didn't matter what religion they were in. They just felt so much peace, but they sat on the floor. So now I decided to create a studio where they have an actual retreat area. The retreat area also serves as my church for Joy Celebration Church on Sundays. So it's been a true blessing, this place. People have been come to God. They've been saved. They've been healed. They've had coaching, counseling. They actually have joined the programs, our 3-month challenge and Mommy and Me classes. It's just been an anointed place. I dance in the front of the studio for Christmas. Easter's coming up soon. I'll be dancing. I danced for Palm Sunday weekend, Saturday, the weekend of Palm Sunday. I did Christian songs and fun songs and gave out candy. It's just been a great, great experience. And no one gets in the way. No one bothers me. I have never felt so free in my life. So I thank God so much. And this is the thing, guys. I say all this to say I'm at the pinnacle of where I've always wanted to be in life. I can't imagine that God has more for me. I can't imagine because I'm there already. Well, we recently moved and I love the place I'm in. I can't believe it's better than where it was before. And God said, now I want you to end this. You've completed it. And I want you to start your podcast. So I know I said I wasn't going to tell the story, but that's how I got to where I am right now, podcasting. I'm back to the screen where God gave me a vision that that's where I'm going to be. The girl said, you're going to be on I see you on TV. I see you dancing and doing fitness. I'm back here. Can you believe it? So, Sakagore Fit is a wellness program, and I bring it to you now. And it's online, and wherever locally God brings me is where it is. If God brings me to an actual place, then you can go there, or I can come to you. The other thing that's in my studio is something that I've always done as myself, Patrice Evans, the performance artist, is that I am a professional dancer. So I can dance for your wedding, for your someone's hiring me for their mother's um, 98th birthday. I actually did an 87th birthday for a man and his wife. She hired me. I've done a reception for my first one in Atlanta was a sweet couple. And I said, Lord, just show me what you want me to do. The first person that hires me is going to help me solidify it. She said, I need a Caribbean style. And I was like, that's it, Lord, because I had a Caribbean theme wedding. We went away to the Caribbean, and now I want my reception to be that. She was the first, and she solidified it, and it was so much fun. It was her backyard. Her backyard was like this field. It was beautiful. They were the sweetest couple, and it was in Atlanta. It was the perfect place to start. That's all on YouTube. You can check out my YouTube channel, see all these parties. But I loved every single one of them. I have all 5 stars on Gig Salad where people have found me, and I am the featured dancer in Atlanta, believe it or not. And I haven't even been engaging with it in the past few years because of the pandemic. I'm still the top dancer, so I'm really excited about that. So obviously God has been telling me that dancing is what he wants. He says dance for me. He loves my dancing. My ministry is dancing, and I've just been really struggling with it, and I finally let go. And I'm letting him decide. So I'm a dancing pastor, guys. And God wants me to now that I've done whatever I did. He said I finished it, whatever I was supposed to finish. I've been so obedient. My husband and I have been through so much. I guess the part of the story I'm going to save for later is the behind the scenes, what was really going on in my life when I was doing all these things. There's a lot there, but this is how we got to this podcast today. So now I am doing this out of obedience. I've been living in an obedient state for so many years, and it kicked off when I did my DVD. That's when I started saying I give my whole life to the Lord, and I'm in an obedient state. And I've had a lot of warfare along the way, even as we speak. I'm coming out of, and it hasn't been easy, but I'm moving along, and I just keep adding steps and foundation. He's building such a foundation that I know that this podcast must be something great from his perspective. So I'm really excited to launch this today with my hair not so perfect, my nails not perfect, my makeup. I'm just up late, just talking to y'all. So you probably hear it in my voice. I won't keep it too long because I don't want to keep too many people up. But I wanted to let you know that this is our first official podcast with our name, Unlock Your Joy, Body, Mind, and Spirit, with Patrice Evans, Pastor Patrice Evans. Dancing pastor, minister of joy is what I've been called, Billy Graham with an afro. And so, what you're going to see here is me helping you with my wisdom and discernment, speaking truth and righteousness. And I usually share what God's telling me to do, and I share what you ask me. If you ask me questions or if I get in the comments, then it might build one of the episodes that we're going to be doing. So definitely comment. I will block you if you say anything that is out of sorts. And if you know me, I don't do what I'm told. I do what the Lord tells me to do. So even if you want me to do hair videos, people want me to go back to my hair journey and all that, I can't do it if the Lord's not telling me, if that's not the season I'm in. So the season I'm in right now is to do this podcast. And please come along this journey with me because I do have a lot of wisdom. I am over 50. I have a lot of videos. I have some good videos out here that's I'm looking 20 years older at over 50. Um, at this time of this video, I'm 54, and that's why my wellness program is there because I'm able to help you, um, you know, look and feel beautiful for real, not just masking it on the outside, but being who you really are, authentically you, in a wellness program. So this wellness program, remember, it has an online program. You can do it all online from wherever you are in the world, and you can do it locally. I can come to you for the fitness. Oh, yes. So I belly dance for parties, and I also have a wellness tea party, TM, that I bring to you. It's so much fun. It's in my studio, and I can bring it to you. And it's for brides, bridal showers, bachelor parties, all of that. So I have that party starting choreography. I also choreograph for your first dance for wedding or all of that stuff. So that's my me, Patrice Evans, what I do, but I do it through my studio. And the studio does so much. We also have Mommy and Me that we do, but that's more ministry from the church. So if you want to know more about what I do, basically, you can hire me through Saka Core Fit, our women's holistic wellness studio or program. And what that is an online wellness program where you're transformed body, mind, and spirit by taking the belly dance fit classes, by doing one on one coaching, looking at all of the videos that I have up there that help you, spiritual advice and guidance. And of course, you could always join us on Sundays, 11:30 live on my YouTube channel, Joy Party TV with Patrice Evans, for our sermons if you want to go deeper with me with that. But I can help you in any way. I'm high level with professional performance artist and dancer. I am an certified teacher in New York City and North Carolina, and administrator. And I am an ordained pastor. So I'm at the highest level for body, mind, and spirit mastery so that I can help you in all those areas. And I've been through a lot myself. So on this channel, I want to help you in every way that I can. My expertise in coaching would be to help you with narcissistic abuse because it comes very natural for me because of how I grew up in the home that I grew up in, was verbally and emotionally abusive and physical. And dedicated my life to learning why. And now I've mastered that. And I'm one of the thought leaders in sharing and helping people know what that is from my one woman show. If you look it up, it was done when no one knew about it. So me and maybe a few other people were the ones talking about it. And I remember Ramani was one of the people that helped me with the term. So Dr. Ramani. So um, I was doing it at the time she was, and I was one of the first to share it in the way that I did as a Hayoka empath. And so I am someone you can ask questions about when it comes down to domestic violence, narcissistic abuse, how to find red flags in relationships, and I help you with leadership and communication skills. So these are my expertise, and these are the things I can help you with. And so definitely ask me any questions that you need. You can email me your questions. Um, and what I'll give you is the email for the Soccer Core Fit email. It's info@soccercorefit.com. That would be a great email to send it to for now. Okay. And if I get a better email for you, or if I get a podcast email that's separate, I'll definitely put it here. But for now, go ahead through Saka and I can help you with that. So I have a Soccer Women's program. It is a wonderful program that you could do entirely online. And I have a flat fee of $300 a month. And it gives you everything in person. If you're in person or not, that's it. God told me to give you that. So there's no special thing there. That's what he told me monthly. It's a monthly membership. You can end at any time. So definitely contact me if you want to be a part of that. And if you want to hire me as a dancer, then you can also reach out to me for that as well. So it's all through my studio. And I am a party starter and choreographer. So just know all that. So back to the podcast. I'm really excited because this is really up my alley. And I thank God for this transition. And I'm thanking God that He's showing me the next thing because it was so hard to let go of my studio. So I'm still in my studio. I'm still teaching there, still doing all the stuff there. But when the lease runs out, I will be transitioning fully on the podcast and fully having a program that will be all online and exclusive to those who meet the criterion of how I can go to you for it. It is now for 44 minutes and 44 seconds. So I'm going to get off now. And I thank you so much for spending time with me. Please comment, share this with everyone. And I look forward to talking to you next week in our next episode. So thank you for joining me. This is the welcome episode. And in the introduction to who I am, Patrice Evans, Pastor Patrice Evans, your dancing pastor, the minister of joy, Billy Graham with an afro. That's what I've been called. So I love you guys so very much, and I appreciate you so much. I look forward to getting to know you better, and I'll see you in the next podcast. Bye.